bit today. Thanks for asking for that. That's awesome. Thank you so much, because that's a lot of why I also got interested about acupuncture. I'm an organizer. I've done a lot of healing justice work. I'm a yoga teacher too, and I was just like, how do I get more healing to the people? Let's talk about that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So to kind of an arc of what we'll talk about today, just so you kind of know where we're going, we're going to start with a little bit of a reflection, thinking about like what liberation means to all of us individually. We'll kind of go through some history. I have a clip that we'll watch about the Young Lords, kind of talk about their legacy and things like that. And I specifically use the Young Lords in my own lineage because I am also a Black Puerto Rican, and so those are kind of my organizing ancestors. And then we'll take some time to think about our own positionalities. What does it mean for our own identities, our own social identities, and what does it mean for us to be involved in liberation work from where we sit? I'm a firm believer that we all have different work to do, and so it's important to kind of recognize like where you sit, where your work looks, and what solidarity or liberation in your work might look like. And then we'll kind of talk about praxis. We'll kind of use some time to talk about that, and then have an opportunity for you to talk about some things, some issues that you might be seeing in your own practices, in your own clinics, and kind of like use the space for people to kind of harvest ideas of like, how can we address these issues in our practices, our clinics, what are the barriers to that, and kind of end our conversation there about like, cool, now I have some more information, met some other folks, how do we like build towards what we want to see in our spaces where we're offering healing. So that's what we're going to do today. Cool. Any questions off the bat? Feel free to stop and ask questions at any time. And yeah, cool. Okay, so we're going to start with a little free write, solo reflection. So that's why I asked for folks on paper. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to reflect on 3 questions. The first question is, and I'll write them down as well, what does liberation mean to you? Who do you see when you envision liberation? Like, who is liberation for? And then the kind of census question, what does liberation sound like? What does liberation look like? What does liberation feel like? What does liberation taste like? You don't have to answer every single one, but just start to write what's coming to mind when I ask those questions. Again, so what does liberation mean to you? Who is liberation for, or who do you envision when you see liberation? And what does it sound, look, feel, taste like? And so you'll have about 5 minutes to reflect